first Berserker Khazan official DMG Gaming Podcast review.
All right.
I got some gameplay I want to show you.
Okay.
Some really good gameplay, actually. I'll play that later, but let me give an overview. So let's see. I'll give a kind of basis of the story, and then I'll get into the actual review. This will be a short one. So anyway, you play as Khazan, who is...
Khazan. Mm-hmm.
What the fuck?
I'm just chiming in and giving my input as well.
Okay. Anyway, you're so you play as Khazan, who was a general in the Empire. He was a famous general. He was like the general of this empire. Anyway, the Emperor betrays you, and basically at the time you think your friend 𝐬𝐲𝐫 is actually dead also. Like 𝐬𝐲𝐫 was his best friend in combat. It was basically a mage that he basically went, wherever he was, 𝐬𝐲𝐫 was with him. Through all the wars they did in regards to whatever the Emperor wanted to conquer and everything like that. He pretty much was the hero of this nation. Anyway, so the beginning of the game kind of explains a little bit, but then you cut right into him in a carriage. Basically, he's been exiled by the Emperor, and pretty much, I guess you would say, sentenced to death by the Emperor, and he feels betrayed right now. Khazan feels really betrayed, and he thinks his best friend is dead, 𝐬𝐲𝐫. He lost all his troops are not under his command anymore. He lost everything because of the Emperor, and so he promises vengeance, like his own personal vengeance against the Emperor at the very beginning. He's going to do whatever he can to stay alive and kill the Emperor. But during this time, as the carriage is moving through this pathway in the mountains, this thing called the Phantom Blade, basically like a soul from the netherworld, was released upon in the actual human world, and went in there and attacked the carriages, killed all the soldiers, and possessed Khazan. And even though he's possessed, he can still like function. He knows who he is and everything like that, but he has even more power. He's a lot stronger than he used to be. But anyway, this Phantom Blade, or Blade Phantom or something like that. Anyway, this Phantom is basically on a mission for the netherworld, basically to, find out what's going wrong with the chaos in the world and everything like that. And so he has a mission, and eventually you'll get into a fight at the very beginning where you guys form a bond, or basically agreement. He'll give Khazan his powers, and in return, Khazan is a powerful form, a powerful human, so he's able to possess him, and that's what he needs in order to complete his mission. And then the Phantom, of course, agrees to Khazan's vengeance. So they're kind of working together throughout the game, trying to figure out, basically their trek to the Emperor to kill him is pretty much how you're playing the game, while, at the same time helping the Phantom with his mission. All right. But anyway, your hub is in like the netherworld and the human world. You can like go in between. There's a portal in the main hub that you go to. So you go in between. You got your blacksmith. You got your shopkeepers, your storage, your leveling up, and a bunch of other things that you can do. So let's kind of break down. While I'm actually breaking down each segment of our review for this, I'm going to be playing some video as we talk about it. So let me go to my other YouTube. But what I did was I played this on PS5 Pro. Just heads up. I didn't play it on PC, but the PS5 Pro looks fantastic, dude. Like, it looks really good. Very good looking game overall, but I'll get to that. All right. Let me change, switch accounts. Go to this one. All right, cool. All right, let me share these videos real quick of each one. Let me start with this one. All right. Let me know when you see that, Grant.
I see it.
You see it? All right. So this is kind of like, here's an opening video. Or not an opening video, but a boss fight.
No. Make it stop.
Anyway, this is kind of like the cutscenes and a boss fight. some combat in there. But as you see here, he's pretty much grasping the power of the Phantom, turning into his basically a Phantom form that you can transform into once you gather enough resources in combat. You can turn into this form, and you're pretty much indestructible in this form.
That's good.
Yeah. But anyway, so let's break it down a little bit. We'll start with the story, at least from what I experienced so far. Here, let me close this. All right, so the story, kind of explained the story, but like overall the story when it comes to the interactions with the bosses and kind of, so you know how Elden Ring, like this is a Souls game, okay? It's a challenging Souls game, but the first thing that they give you in this Souls game, Grant, you know how people are like, man, I wish some Souls games could be easier, right?
Yeah.
Well, they have difficulty settings in this game.
Oh,
for a Souls game.
Yeah.
You can start out at normal or easy. All right.
I'd start at normal.
You would be immediately easy after getting killed by the first fucking monster.
They would have to unlock another one below easy.
Yeah.
Novus.
Yeah. All right. But anyway,
assisted.
So you have the difficulty settings. Normal, let me tell you, the bosses they're rough, dude. Like this game, bosses are very rough. It's very fast paced and it's a lot of parrying and dodging, like, ensuring you hit the parry button in the right second to get like a perfect parry, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very challenging because it's very fast paced attacks. Like you're clicking the fucking parry button back to back a lot of times, and you gotta learn their different attacks. It's just like most Souls games. You gotta learn their the way their movement is before attack. But they got so many fucking combinations, dude. So many combinations.
Shadow Link said difficulty noob. It had to be lower than that. Like it had to be elementary.
Yeah, you need something.
Like
you can beat that game in easy.
It would all be like where I just hit the buttons.
But anyway,
you said it was on par with like difficulty with like the 𝐸 Elden Ring.
I would say 𝐸 difficulty, definitely. Cool. And maybe some later bosses in regular Elden Ring, but it's different. It's just different. Like it's faster pace. So in this game, you only have 3 weapons, right? That's the only downside I would say that I experienced, but it's really not a downside, being that you can spec into these weapons with different. You get skills, make it more, your spear, great sword, or dual wield.
Mm-hmm.
You can make it more powerful, and you can get different moves and make those moves more powerful with different combos. And the more you spec your mastery into these different types of weapons. So I went with the spear. The spear just felt really good in this game, and it did a lot of stamina damage, which is basically percent of my damage that I did to the boss would also affect their stamina. So I could get them stunned quickly and use a brutal attack, which is basically like a finisher, some sorts that does like a lot of damage. But anyway, so I went with the spear. I did die a lot, like at the beginning, to get used to it, because it's a little bit different pacing than Elden Ring and your standard other Souls games in that genre, like Dark Souls and stuff like that. But it's a lot faster pace. But anyway, but it has a solid story. And there's side missions, you can continue on with the main missions, but there's a lot of side missions that allow you to revisit the levels you just did, except they might look different and they'll have a different boss or a different goal and stuff like that. But they look different every time. And when you complete these levels, you get a good story. Like it's a cutscene, like a actual, I would say, it's a story scene, as in like it looks very artsy, like art book style cutscene. You know what I mean? It's not like full motion. It's that art book or comic style, I guess,
like a comics. Yeah, I was about to say.
But it's really good. Like the story's really legit. I would say the story's basic, but it's still a good story. And it tells you the story of all the characters that you meet at your hub, that you gather, you save, including a dark elf girl, that they had a great character design with her. I can pull that up real quick if you don't mind.
I don't mind.
But yeah, the overall like character design was great. Like Khazan's just cool looking dude.
He does look cool. He really does.
Like the armor styles. I'll get to the blacksmithing and the crafting later here soon, but I mean, it's just overall awesome. And let me pull her up real quick. Here we go. All right, let me know when you see it. Sharing now. I think that's her. Yeah, that's her. All right, here's a cut with her. This is the boss fight. I'm gonna turn the volume up for a little bit. No, you ain't doing that.
This definitely wasn't made in the West, now was it?
I think there's been a misunderstanding.
He's ripped like me.
All right, but yeah, so that's many others. I mean, there's another cool fight scene. You fight one of the a princess that's been kind of tainted by chaos. It's set in like an auditorium. I think you saw that one. It's set in an auditorium, and you have all these like shadow figures in the background. That's like Congress.
Yeah,
and it's through the fight. I mean, it's just a cool game, and honestly, it's very under the radar, bro. Like, it's under the radar. Like, not a lot of people are really talking about it until they start playing it.
Correct.
And this is from Nexon, dude. Like, Nexon's okay, but this is the first legit game that I was like, this is really good. Like, from Nexon. So, that just shows you the development from, early Nexon with all the crap games they used to come out with and where they're at now as a studio. Like, they come out with a game like this that challenges all your From Software games, besides Elden Ring. It challenges them, and honestly, they're, in my opinion, they're better. The first Berserker Khazan is better than most Dark Souls games. I would say almost all of them. Just how the setup is. I mean, I enjoyed the game. I enjoyed the combat. I enjoyed the story. I enjoyed like the designs, like the areas that you were in. I mean, they were really good looking. It had that kind of. Some of them had that gothic appeal to it. But basically, your kingdom's been. First, you were betrayed by the emperor, but now your kingdom's being like ransacked by chaos and demons and all that stuff. And yeah, I mean, it's just a good looking background in the game. And the levels can be long too. There's some pretty long levels in there. Then you got the side quests. You got some short ones, but then you have some really long ones.
So is it broken down into levels, or is it like?
Yeah, so you go from stage to stage, really.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right, but you can go revisit those stages whenever you want to. You just click on the portal and you go wherever you want to. And sometimes you get side quests from the characters you have in your hub, and they take you back to those places. Except it's a different. It's telling a story of that character that you're dealing with. Like, usually like a backstory of them and what happened to them, or what happened to some of your companions that that served underneath you when you were a general under the Empire. And so it really does a lot of good backstory stuff and kind of where Khazan came from, who he was, along with the other characters you meet along the way.
That's cool.
But then, the gameplay is great. The boss designs are great. The regular enemy designs are great. I mean, there's sometimes that the spears are a little bit more fast paced. I mean, it's about the same speed as like your dual wield, I would say, but it hits like a truck when it comes to stamina damage and stuff like that. And I just think the spear is overall pretty cool. I played all three. I just thought the spear felt a lot better than all the other weapons. But anyway, so it has that anime style throughout the game. The voice actor that did Clive from Final Fantasy 16 does Khazan.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know
that. I forget his name, but he did a great job. And honestly, all the voice acting did it. I mean, honestly, all the localization for this is fantastic, dude. All the voice acting was great, spot on. You got the feel for whatever character they were. They did a great job on the voice acting. And you know how usually when localization. They take a Eastern game and try to localize. They always fuck shit up sometimes on these kind of games.
Remember how terrible Castlevania Symphony of the Night was?
Yeah.
What is a man?
But this one was done very well. So they actually put in some effort on this one. But anyway, so you go through, you meet all these other characters that turn to chaos, and like the empire's crumbling. The emperor got killed, and then you find out later, spoiler, if anyone's about to play the game or doesn't want to know the story, just kind of mute it for now for the next 15 seconds. You find out 𝐬𝐵𝐷, your best friend, is still alive. And he's the one that kills the emperor. And he's the one that betrayed you. And was behind all that stuff that declared you like a traitor to the empire and everything like that. He's the one that's been causing all this chaos. He's the one that's been killing. He killed all your companions, like your best friend. And you find out a little bit later.
Oh, man. Okay.
And then that's, again, who you fight. The ending, though, ending's great. I mean, it's a good ending, you know. It's a good ending. It's not. It doesn't leave you like, you know. It's not a crappy ending. It's a really good ending. But I'm not going to spoil the ending for those that want to play it. But yeah, man, it's like it was just a very under the radar Souls game, but it's a really good Souls game. It is, for me, it's top of those lists, dude. Like,
yeah.
It doesn't have the fantastic exploration of Elden Ring, but I think the combat was more fun. I thought the combat was more engaging with the perfect dodges and the perfect I think they're called brink dodges and brink parries and stuff like that. If you get those perfect ones, everything just feels good. The combat feels great. So the combat's more engaging. I mean, the overall story, of course, is better because Elden Ring, you're kind of piecing everything together. But overall, man, it's a great Souls game, and I recommend it. If people like,
ready to give the score?
Yeah, a little bit. Hold on.
Okay.
But people that want to play a good Souls game, especially one that's more animation or anime style, with an awesome fucking main character and awesome side characters, as you saw from Dark Elf Girl. There's a few others in there you'll see
that look like women.
Yeah. It's an awesome bad guy towards the end too. A really cool bad guy. But if you're looking for a really good Souls game to play this one. It's going to kind of bring you back to Code Vein, but not as slow paced.
Yeah.
As Code Vein was. But yeah, it's a great Souls game. I recommend it to everybody. And I think it's one of those games that's going to fly on the radar here. But then everyone's going to come back. Holy shit, you guys played this game yet? Yeah. Once everyone catches up to it. All right. So score.
Here we go.
A score. Everything put together. I think Nexon hit it out of the park, dude. Like, this is probably this is probably my favorite game they've ever made. Nexon.
I got you. Hey, real quick, before you give the score, let me ask you a question that I always ask you. What could they have done better, or what did you not like?
I already said that. More weapons.
More weapons?
Yeah.
And that's it? That's the only flaw that was it?
I liked everything else.
Okay.
I would say good. More weapons. More of a choice. Like, maybe a sword and shield.
Gotcha.
You know, maybe put a little magic, a staff or something in there.
That's cool. Okay.
I don't know. Bow and arrow. You know, they could have mixed it up. Even though you have a javelin, kind of serves as your range, and the javelin can hit like a fucking truck too.
Yeah. And
I use that quite a bit to like take out snipe enemies. That's the cool thing about it. You can snipe enemies.
That's cool.
Like one shot them if you're spec'ing to it right. But yeah. Anyway, that's the only. Just more weapons. Yeah. So it's a 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10.
Yeah, 9 out of 10. Yeah, the first Berserker Khazan, fantastic game. I recommend it. Anyone who loves Souls games, you want to love this one. It's a great game. The first Berserker Khazan.
I thought you were gonna make you didn't make a graphic for it?
No, not this one.
That's because this podcast. That's because this podcast is we don't know what's going on. It still says episode 90. It says episode 92 up at the top. So I mean,
yeah. But yeah, it's a great game. Y'all play it.